Good evening, and bloody welcome to Summer Night Murder Mystery Sinking Island, even though it's winter. It's been quite some time since I played this game. I played it right before Christmas, as you can see here. And I have already played through the part that I will play through now, because back then I forgot to record the gameplay, so I only recorded my commentary, and I played about an hour before I found out that I had forgot to hit the record button. So I will upload that as a bonus episode. If you want to hear my my original reaction to the game, even though you won't be able to see much of the game, unfortunately. I have catched a cold, by the way, so that is why I'm sounding a little funny. But I want to get this playthrough done, because it is the 9th of January today, and so it is a brand new year. So I really need to get this playthrough done, and since I don't know when I will get free from my cold, I might as well record this final episode now, so I will get it done. I won't load any of these save files though, because I think that I saved the game after I found out that I forgot to record the gameplay, so therefore I will start this save file right here. I believe that this save file right here is the last save file that I did in the last episode. So that's the one that I will load. Jack Norm, using the photo of Walter Jones' face and Hubert Nolan's testimony, is persuaded that Jones' death was not accidental but very much criminal. Thanks to several traces and material elements left around the death of Walter Jones, he was able to determine those present on the Tertus Belvedere on the evening of the crime: Baina, Lorenzo, and Hubert Nolan. That night, Baina and Walter Jones fought, and Baina is in all likelihood responsible for Jones's fall onto the rocky beach. The scratches, the fingernail, and the tumultuous footprints around the Belvedere confirmed to Norm this hypothesis. The arrival of the coroner's report turns everything upside down. Walter Jones was killed by a gunshot, thus Baina seems to be innocent. Nolan did not go to the Belvedere just to help his boss. He took advantage of the situation to steal the key to Walter Jones' safe, the key being kept on a chain around his neck. Norm found this key covered with Nolan's fingerprints in his sweet safe. I have a stuffed nose, so I am having trouble reading the text. Nolan used it to open Walter Jones' safe and to collect his testimonial arrangements. Sonny and Billy caught him in the act, and as proven by the objects found in her bag, she took everything. The safe contained all of the things needed for the future marriage between Walter Jones and Baina. A marriage which, if it had taken place, would have disinherited all of Jones' grandchildren for Baina's profit. By comparing the compatible calibers with the bullet that killed Jones and discovering the powder traces which showed the rifle's recent use, Norm was able to establish that the crime weapon was a Blazer carbine with telescope belonging to Walter Jones' very own collection. The shot was fired from the library window, as proven by the shards of wood found on the windowsill, which came from the crime weapon. This coincides perfectly with the autopsy report, which establishes that the shot was fired from a great distance. The number of suspects who are sufficiently good at shooting to be able to shoot Jones is quite large. Norm has discovered that all of the grandchildren as well as Nolan had gone on safaris with the old Jones. In addition, Marco distinguished himself in the army and Lorenzo in biathlon races. Lorenzo and the tower's keycard management software allowed to discover the identity of the last people to enter the library: Hubert and Nolan and a certain Simbi Laktar. In fact, this Simbi Laktar never came back to the island because he was fired. It was Marco who last used his car before destroying it in the garbage disposal, as his fingerprints prove. Nolan did not commit suicide, it was murder. The absence of powder and prints and his goodbye letter, which was found torn in half, proves this beyond a doubt. Okay then. So let's start the game. So, we are in Lorenzo's studio, and Martin is in here as well. In the previous episode, we managed to solve some pieces of the puzzle, and as it turned out, it seems that Marco Jones might be the murderer, but we don't have enough evidence to prove his guilt. I have already talked to Lorenzo and Martin, so there is no need to talk to them again. So let's go to the radio receiver here in order to see if we can find any kind of transmission on the radio. Nah, it is dead. So let's not drag this out. Let's go and talk to Marco. So there's no use in dragging this out any longer. So let's go and talk to him.
It's you again, Inspector. So?
Let's talk to him about pieces of Marco's stained gloves.
It seems proven that these gloves are yours and that they were used to hold the arm of the weapon used for the crime. Maybe you don't know that they carry traces of the flax oil that was found on the stock of the weapon which killed your grandfather. What might one think about all that, Marco?
This is all utterly phony, Inspector. Your TV cop flights of fancy don't hold water for 1 second, okay? This tower is falling into the ocean, and we're all going to sink with it. So keep your conclusions for the lunatics who want to hear you. I, for one, want to try first to save my life and get the hell out of here right now.
I understand.
Okay then. So, since I am sick and I have already played through this part of the game, I will consult my walkthrough. I don't exactly remember what I played in the episode that I forgot to record, though. I don't remember exactly everything. But yeah. I think that I might have forgot to read the document, though. So let's go to the clues database, and I think it's this document right here that I might have forgot to read. So this is a marriage certificate. It is a Maldives marriage certificate for Baina and Walter Jones. It is already signed by Coolio and Walter Jones. It is just missing Baina's signature. So let's take a look on it. Act of Union and Marriage. I actually recognize this document, so I might have already read it in a previous episode, but in case if I haven't, let's read it again. Between Miss Baina Yumo, without profession, Dora Okulio Yumo, the fisherman of Maldivian nationality, and Mr. Walter Jones, President and Managing Director of the Jones Company of Maldivian and American nationalities. According to I am losing my voice. According to current Maldivian tradition, the spouses will bring their dowry to their union and to the household that they found. The dowry of Miss Baina Yumo is constituted by the following items, and so on and so forth. I actually don't have the voice to read this document, so if you want to read it, pause the video and read it, because I just don't have the voice for reading this much text.
The person who stole the remote wanted that this document not be found. The goal was clearly to prevent the marriage.
Okay then. So, as you can see over here, are there one or more irrefutable pieces of evidence of Marco's guilt? According to the progress bar right here, I do have all the material clues and the declaration that is needed in order to solve this last piece of the puzzle right here. Are there one or more irrefutable pieces of evidence of Marco's guilt? But before I try to solve that, let's head to the library, because I'm not sure if I did this in a previous episode or if I did this in the episode that I forgot to record. So let's go to the library. I'm actually looking a lot on my walkthrough right now, but that is because I don't feel too good, so I want to get this video done as quick as possible. And if you, I think that I mentioned it, if you want to see my original playthrough of this, or at least if you want to hear my original playthrough of this very last episode of Summer Night Murder Mystery Sinking Island, then I will upload it as a bonus episode. So let's take a look on the bookcase
Books
right
on
here.
international law, Anglo-Saxon, and Maldivian law. Walter Jones left nothing to chance.
Yeah, so
Books on very different subjects. In English, in German, in French.
we have had a
Spanish
lot
right
of
here.
trouble with
Strange for
this
someone as organized as Walter Jones.
bookcase puzzle, and there is a solution in the walkthrough right here. It says move your cursor to the right and click on the second book from the right, Deep Ocean Tragedy by Walter or by W. Sean Kilmer. So I will have to pull out the books. So let's start with this book right here. And then I will have to pull out books in order so it spells Walter. So now the book that I have to pull out is Human Destiny and Violence. There it is. As you can see, there is an A in the author's first name, and A is for A as in Walter. Then I will have to go to drop. It's right here. Then I have to pull out something La Quotidienne something. Nah, that's not it. La Quotidienne. Think of this book right here. Yep. Then I have to pull out the last book that is less 40 mess something. This book right here. I'm sorry if I'm not that into the game right now, but it is because of obvious reasons. For one, I have already played through this part, and secondly, my voice, as you can hear, is really bad, so I can hardly talk, and I feel really bad because I might have a fever, and I have a stuffed nose, and my throat hurts, and the more I talk, the more my throat hurts. So therefore I am not as into the game as I have been before. Let's pull out this last book, and something should happen now, shouldn't it? Yeah, so I might have fucked it up. Yep, I did.
Books on very different subjects.
So let's do this
English,
again.
in German, in French. There's a Spanish one here. It's strange for someone as organized as Walter Jones.
I also got a pretty new pair of headset. They are putting pressure against my earlobes, though, so they make my ears hurt. Let's start with pulling out the correct books again. Let's start with the W book. Where is it? Deep Ocean Tragedy. It's this right here. Yeah. That's for Walter. That is for A. Human Destiny and Violence. Okay. Then it's Plan 8. Planet in Trouble. Might have forgot to pull that out before. Plan 8. There it is. Then drop. Then a French book by Eric Royon. That's the one. Then by R. Daniel. And something should happen right now, but it isn't happening anything. Nothing is happening. Why isn't it activating?
Books on animal painters. Books on international law, Anglo-Saxon and Maldivian law. Walter Jones left nothing to chance.
Okay, this should open a secret panel. Okay, I have messed something up. I don't know exactly what, but let's follow the walkthrough step by step. I know it's not much fun, but I don't have the energy to think right now. So let's go through the walkthrough step by step. I should go to the 20th floor. And I should go in here. I think that I've already done this though. So let's use the remote control.
Obviously, Jones organized his whole tower around himself and his wheelchair.
Okay. Shouldn't something happen now? And I have to go down. I have already placed the statuettes here. I thought that I had. Okay. So I have already done this. Maybe the game is broken then. Okay, I have done this. Go down and yeah. Walk towards the altar. Blah blah blah. Place a fertility statue and blah blah blah. I've already done this, so let's take a look here. I have placed them as they should be placed. Yeah, I've done that. Let's just go it through. Okay, I have done that. If you have done this correct, 2 doors beneath the altar will open. I have done that. Take the marriage certificate from behind the open doors. Read the marriage certificate in the PPA. Exit PPA. Close the window. Go down 1 screen. Use the remote control and the blinking red light of the panel. Exit the suite. Okay, so I have already done this. So I don't know why the puzzle in the library don't work. Maybe I should do remote control on there, okay? And that should call the elevator, yeah? Exit the suite, enter the elevator, go to the 21st floor, okay then. I've done all this already. But I don't think that I have done the piece of the bookcase thing. I don't think I've done the bookcase thing in the previous episode. Or maybe I have. Let's go to the 21st floor again. Let's go into the library and let's see if we are able to do this. So, it says here, examine the books on the 4th shelf from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's right here.
Books on very different subjects. In English, in German, in French. There's a Spanish one here.
As before, don't touch
Strange
any of the
for someone
books
as
until you know
organized
what
as
to
Walter
do.
Jones.
Alright then. With the correct books, you have to spell Walter Jones' first name. Here we go. Move your cursor to the right and click on the second book from the right, Deep Ocean Tragedy by W. Sean Keimer. And it's this right here. And click on the second. Yeah, I pulled that out now. Move your cursor to the left and click on the 6th book from the left, Human Destiny and Violence. It's this right here. Then, click on the 5th book from the left, Plan 8, A Planet in Travel. Yeah. Then, drop. Okay, so maybe I have pulled out. Nah, I think that it will work now. I hope it will. Drop by T.C. Richard. Yeah. Click on the 9th book from the left by Eric Royan. It's this one right here. And then click on the 3rd book from the right by R. Daniel. That one right there. Now it works.
Aha! So you had a secret penchant for the bottle, Mr. Jones. Not bad as a hiding place.
Yeah, I would have been surprised if I haven't done this already. So let's take, I think we should take a look on here. Examine the panel, it says. And take the most right bottle of water from the 4th shelf, from bottom at the right side. So I should take this water bottle right here. As you can see, it is some kind of bar here with a lot of bottles. But the one that stands out from the crowd, as so to speak, it is this water bottle right here. So let's click on it. And it opened a bookcase on the right here with a manuscript or a book or a folder or something like that. Okay, so let's take and read it. Here we have documents. File on Hubert and Noland. A file created by Walter Jones against Hubert and Noland, incriminating him in many affairs. This file was surely created to put pressure on him. So let's take and read it. I will at least try to read it. So it is. I guess that is the address. I won't read that because it's unnecessary. A certificate of transfer to shareholders. I, the undersigned Hubert and Noland, shareholder in the Jones Company, today gives up 850 Jones Company shares to Mr. Samuel Walter Jones for the nominal fee of $5. This being a global fee of $4,250 for these 850 titles. As payment for this transaction, I recognize having received today check from the Maldives Commercial Bank for the sum of $4,250. Segura, June 6, 2006, without prejudice. Hubert and Noland, attorney. Okay. Let's take a look on here as well. Dear Walter Jones, further to our last conversation, I am informing you of the first investigative elements that you entrusted to us on September 6, 2005, regarding the actions of your collaborator and lawyer, Mr. Hubert Noland. Following the appeal in canceling the sale of the Jones Group Cement Works Company, World Cement, by Walter for fraud, it seems today to be a known fact that Mr. Hubert Noland Basil, the World Cement employees' contributions to the pension funds by placing this piece as treasurer of the building pension fund. She, in effect, made large sum bank transfers to high placement in the stock market placement management company managed by her uncle. High placement surrounded his accounts and transferred a few dividends to his stockholders and declared bankruptcy 6 months before the sale of Cement Works Company World Cement. High placements never reimbursed the 53 million placed on the stock market, which in fact were deposited little by little on Mr. Hubert Noland's numbered account in the Maldives. Here is a list of documents that we have presently collected on this file. 1. Excerpts of the 37 bank transfers signed by Agnes Ferguson, the treasurer of the High Placement Building Pension Fund, for a total of $53 million. Number 2. Judgment for the liquidation of the High Placements Company, forced to terminate payments for the U.S. IRS. Number 3. Excerpts from Hubert Noland's numbered account in the Maldives showing the payments made by the High Placements Company for the past 3 years, and in particular the sum deposited 7 months before its voluntary liquidation, whose total is around $50 million. Number 4. Letters are conveyed by Walter, the Cement Works buyer, and by the Cement Works Workers' Union demanding that the building pension fund reimburse the $53 million in pension funds owned by the employees. Number 5. Appeal by Walter throughout the state of Texas Court of Commerce demanding the cancellation of the sale of the World Cement Works Company for fraud. I believe that you now have in your possession all of the elements to allow you to judge for yourself the most doubtful reliability of this collaborator. I am waiting for the payment of our bill to fees from the last trifle master. I will transmit these documents to you upon receipt. I don't know, I might mispronunciate the words incorrectly, but take it for what it is. I, the undersigned, Hubert Noland, business lawyer, treasurer and shareholder of the Jones Company, president of the High Placement Company, recognize and admit the following facts. Having placed my niece, Agnes Ferguson, as treasurer of the Builder Pension Fund in order to embezzle $53 million invested by her for the World Cement Works Company's account in the form of financial placements in the company high placements, which I share. Having deposited in the private capacity the sum of $53 million to the account, the credit and private bank of the Maldives, under the form of 17 monthly transfers assured by my niece Agnes Ferguson. Having provoked on May 13, 2005, the cessation of payments to the High Placement Company in the Boston State Financial Service with the goal of relieving myself of any legal procedure. Having thus disbarred the employees and retired persons from the World Cement Works Company, subsidiary of the Jones Company, my employer. Segura, May 15, 2006, without prejudice, given Nolan's attorney and is signed by him. Or read and approved and a signature. So, that wasn't easy to read. Okay, now that I've done that, click on progression, click on the file, on the puzzle piece, which I have done. Are there one or more irrefutable pieces of evidence of Marco's guilt? Now I should click on the clues database, and I don't have the brain capacity to think by myself, so therefore I will place the correct piece of evidence in the slots here before I lose my voice completely. I'm reading the walkthrough right now, so that is why I'm not saying anything. Nah, that was wrong. I want to trade it for this one. I hardly have any capacity to talk anymore, so that is why I am quiet. So, the pieces of evidence that I have placed in the slots now should be correct.
Are there single or multiple irrefutable proofs of Marco's guilt? Marco's gloves in the shredder, together with Simbi Lactar's card, make him the murderer.
So there you have it. The murderer is Marco Jones.
The gloves and Simbi Lactar's card prove irrefutably that Marco Jones is the murderer of Walter Jones, who was his real father. Marco Jones forged a false alibi. He was not with his girlfriend Christina the evening of the murder. She was cheating on him with Martin Abruzzi, Sonia Jones' husband. Marco Jones had several reasons to kill Walter Jones.
Wonderful, Jack. Excellent work. Don't lose a minute. Grab that guy and keep him warm for me. The helicopter's having difficulties in Saleh. Problem with a failed rotor that nearly cost the life of 5 refugees and my pilot. He managed to land without too much damage. We're repairing it super fast and we'll take care of you. Mechanic says it'll take at least 3 hours. If you find another way of getting out of there, go for it. Okay, I'll call you. Well done again. Go arrest the jerk.
Yes, I'll put myself to it.
Okay then. So now we have to go and arrest Marco. But let's go and talk to Christina if we are able to do that. Think she's on the 19th floor.
I'm sorry, Christina. Marco is the murderer of Walter Jones and Hubert de Noland. So help me save some time before he kills a third person. Tell me where to find him.
Marco? But it's not possible. You can't say this, just like that. I don't know where he is. But you must have made a mistake, Inspector.
Excuse me, I am distracted. I have what I need. See you later.
Okay, that's a strange way to end the conversation. I do know a way though to find where Marco is. I think I do. He's in Lorenzo's studio. It says so right there, so I think it must be correct. But before we go to Lorenzo's studio, let's talk to the remaining people here.
Clara, I have to arrest Marco to stop him from causing harm a third time. He's the murderer of Walter Jones and de Noland. Where is he?
So, it's him. I don't know at all where he might be hiding, Inspector. And moreover, I want to leave this place. Very fast. Because we're all going to remain here, you understand? So your cop stuff has to take a back seat for now.
Excuse me, I am distracted. I have what I need. See you later.
Okay, let's talk to every single person that we are able to talk to before we arrest Marco Jones for the murder of Walter Jones and Hubert de Noland.
Billy, I have to find your brother quickly. It's he who killed your grandfather, and I'm afraid he'll have more victims. Do you know where he is?
Marco? So it was him who had the most guts. That Marco. Sorry, man. I don't know where he is.
Okay, so we can talk to him about the file on Hubert de Noland.
This document seems to incriminate Noland. I'm wondering if you know something that is liable to contradict it?
I never liked this Nolan fellow, but now it's for a good reason. It seems pretty damning, Inspector.
This transfer of shares fully reimburses Walter Jones for the embezzlement of funds by Hubert de Noland, doesn't it?
Wow, Norm. If you ask me, with this, Mr. Hubert de Noland seems pretty much in hot water.
Yes.
Yeah, well, Hubert de Noland is dead, so I don't think
I'm
that he
sorry for you,
cares.
Sonia. It's your brother Marco who killed your grandfather and Hubert de Noland. Do you know where I can find him?
Marco. My God. So it's him. He must have had his reasons. I don't know where I can find my brother, Inspector. If I knew, I wouldn't tell you. You can understand that, can't you?
So let's talk to her about the file on Hubert and Noland as well.
This document seems to incriminate Noland. I'm wondering if you know something that is liable to contradict it?
I don't know anything about this business. And I wonder if it's not yet another of my grandfather's dirty tricks. You know, Mr. Norm, he was really of a sort. He loved destroying people. Maybe he wanted to destroy Noland for pleasure. Maybe Noland knew too many things that could have compromised him, and my grandfather wanted to get rid of his attorney.
This transfer of shares fully reimburses Walter Jones for the embezzlement of funds by Hubert de Noland, doesn't it?
He succeeded in beating Hubert de Noland at his own game. That's all. My grandfather was very smart, you have to admit.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go and talk to Coolio and his daughter Baina as well. Let's see if, well, first,
Coolio.
if
Do you
Coolio
know where
has
Marco
something
Jones
to
is to be
say.
found? It's he who killed Walter Jones and Hubert de Noland.
I do not know where Marco Jones is, but I am glad that you know now that it is not my daughter who killed old Jones.
Excuse me, I am distracted.
Let's
I have what I
see
need. See you later.
if Baina finally will be able to speak.
Baina, I know that Marco Jones killed his grandfather, the old man Jones. Do you know where he can be found? Excuse me, I am distracted. I have what I need. See you later.
Nah, she couldn't speak. So, let's take a look on the characters again. I have spoken to Billy. Martin is in Lorenzo's studio. I spoke to Sonia, didn't I? I think I did. I think I have spoken to every person now. Okay, so Lorenzo is on the 22nd floor. But Marco and Martin is in Lorenzo's studio. So let's go to the 22nd floor. Yeah, I think Lorenzo's studio is actually on the 22nd floor. So I think that that means that Lorenzo is outside of his studio. Maybe he's locked out or something like that. Well, anyway, I haven't played this part of the game, so this is brand new for me. I stopped playing. Well, if you watch my bonus episode, you will find out where I stopped playing. So let's go up to the 22nd floor.
Oh, shit. Lorenzo? Lorenzo! Wake up, my fellow.
Oh, my head. I have a headache.
What happened to you, Lorenzo?
It's Marco. He hit me. Marco has gone completely crazy, Norm. I don't understand why he did that to me.
Let's talk to Lorenzo.
I need you to enlighten me on a point. This document seems to incriminate Noland. I'm wondering if you know something that is liable to contradict it?
Mr. Jones was not about to confide in me on this matter, my dear Norm. But I came across Noland when he came out of the boss's office the afternoon of his death. And you should have seen his face. I'd never seen him in such a state. What you tell me doesn't surprise me. I can tell you that Noland is a real SOB. That he embezzled money from the pension funds of Jones's cement factory doesn't surprise me in the least.
Very interesting, really.
Okay then. So let's go into Lorenzo Battaglieri's studio.
Marco!
It's over, Inspector Norm!
What are you doing?
As you can see, I'm leaving you, Norm!
Marco, you can't abandon your entire family and your fiancé here. This tower could crumble at any second.
No more tower! No other heirs! All of Walter Jones's money is mine!
It's you who killed Walter Jones. I have the proof, Marco, and also Hubert de Nolan.
No crime scene left! No crime left! What do you say to that, Inspector?
You killed your father, Marco.
Farewell, Inspector!
No! Marco!
What's going on, Norm?
It's over, Lorenzo. Get everyone to climb into the balloon carriage. There is no moment to lose. This tower is going to collapse.
It's horrible.
Yes, Christina. Your boyfriend Marco killed Walter Jones, his own father, and also Hubert de Nolan. I have the proof today. Of course, suspicion first fell on young Baina, who accompanied the victim on the path on the evening of the crime. Baina, who had to rebuke Walter Jones's advances one more time that evening. While one could evoke legitimate self-defense, Baina is responsible without a doubt for Walter Jones falling onto the rocks. And I confess that for a moment, I thought that this fall entailed the death of Walter Jones. I was wrong. Walter Jones remained stuck in the rocks a few meters below the curving path, imprisoned in his electric wheelchair, but very much alive, calling and signing for help.
It was almost night, and moreover, there was the sound of the waves.
I know all that, Sonia. Let me go on, I beg you. The report from the forensic expert received the next day is categorical. Walter Jones was hit by a .270 caliber short Magnum Winchester bullet in the back. On impact, the victim rolled further down from the initial point of his fall to end up on the sand, where he was found the next morning. The bullet did not go through the body. It was lodged in the sternum after it perforated the right lung. On the day that I arrived, I therefore did not notice anything abnormal. The impact of the bullet was invisible. Walter Jones lay spread on his back, a man weighing almost 500 pounds, and I was in no position to turn him. Baina was not the murderer, and my suspicions turned toward Hubert de Nolan. I became convinced that Hubert de Nolan had made the most of the fact that Mr. Jones was stuck between the rocks and removed the key to his safe that he always wore around his neck. Mr. Jones, sufficiently lightheaded from his fall and weakened by his handicap, could do nothing to stop him. Obviously, Hubert de Nolan's dealings did not exonerate any one of you. In any case, in this business you are all the potential heirs, and therefore have good reason to end the days of the billionaire grandfather, especially if you found out that he'd planned to disinherit you for the betterment of a charming native. Isn't that so, Sonia?
I have nothing to do with my grandfather's death. You know this very well, Norm.
No matter what, my first concern was to find the weapon used for the crime. And I confess that this was not very complicated, because I got my hands on the weapon that corresponded with the projectile found in the body of Walter Jones in his own office. A weapon that in the hands of a good shot is perfectly capable of shooting a bullet from the library to a target situated 200 meters below in the shadows. The prints on the weapon condemned Hubert de Nolan. Moreover, he had already taken part in Walter Jones's safaris. He was familiar with this type of firearm and was capable of succeeding with a tough shot. But he was not the only one on this island who knew how to use a hunting weapon. Far from it. And Hubert de Nolan denied it with vehemence. Moreover, yesterday evening he promised me that this morning he would tell me the real identity of the culprit. Alas, this morning the poor man was dead. The murder of de Nolan was grossly disguised as a suicide. Someone did not want him to talk. And then I discovered that there was another person who had broken into the library at the moment of the murder. Someone who used the key card of a former employee who had left the island a while back. Who had stolen Simbi Laktar's card from Lorenzo's drawer and used it to go into the office and then the library at the hour of the crime? Marco, of course. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Marco slipped into gloves to use the crime weapon and shot Walter Jones,
If Marco's fingerprints are not on the weapon, then how can you accuse him, Inspector? How do you explain the imprints of Hubert de Noland?
De Noland did take the weapon in his hands, miss, but only to remove the eyepiece and observe the scene on the beach. Walter Jones being pushed by Baina. Walter Jones stranded on the rocks, incapable of moving, seriously shocked, but still alive. Basically, Walter Jones finally at his mercy.
And why, according to you, did he not shoot our grandfather? Nolan had good reason to.
Because he didn't think of it. Because it wasn't useful for him. Because he believed him to be dying on the rocks. What's the good of shooting at someone who's already about to die?
Okay, but Marco then?
Marco was in the room. He saw Nolan look at Walter Jones, and then he saw him hurry out of the room.
To go grab the key to the safe that was around Walter Jones's neck?
Yes, that's it, Billy. Marco had just found out that Walter Jones was his father, that he had raped his mother. He was in a rage. He took the weapon, repositioned the eyepiece, introduced a cartridge. He waited for Nolan to take the key from Walter Jones's neck and leave. Walter Jones was now alone on the rocks. Marco hoisted the weapon, aimed carefully like the good soldier he was. He shot. Walter Jones' body fell down backward and ended its fall further down on the beach.
The proof of all this, Inspector.
As far as his false alibi, it's useless to go there, isn't it, Christina?
No, I think it's right like this, Inspector Norm.
As for the proof of Marco's guilt, here we go. Once the crime was accomplished, he threw the gloves and Simbi Laktar's card in the trash chute. He thus expected to eliminate all traces of his crime. Alas for him, the shredder was conceived for paper and didn't digest the gloves, which remained blocked along with the card in the cogs. The gloves, bought in Moscow, were presumably a gift from Christina and still bore traces of flax oil. This oil is usually used to treat the stalks of precious weapons to bring out the veins in the wood.
You're trying to tell us that the gloves did not leave a trace on the weapon. It's the weapon that left its trace on Marco's gloves.
Yes, Lorenzo, and it's this that incriminates Marco as the murderer of Walter Jones.
So, that was the end of Sinking Island and the second season of Summer Night Murder Mystery as well. So, I want to thank you so much for watching, and I will probably see you in the third episode of Summer Night Murder Mystery. So, until then, thank you so much for watching, and have a good night.